tuition fee hikes in Nigerian public universities. Extremely worried by the recent trend of exorbitant arrogance by some public university authorities with the indiscriminate hike in students' tuition, the national headquarters of the student wing of the Coalition of Northern Groups, a student initiative with the ultimate goal of striving for accessibility and affordability of qualitative education to Nigerian students, wish to call attention to the dire consequences of this action on the educational development of northern Nigeria. This follows the ratification by the federal government of a regime of harsh economic policies that have caused mass sufferings to Nigerians. We find it regrettable that as a result of these poorly designed policies, hunger is taking millions of homes. Inflation is making life difficult by the day. People are losing jobs, businesses are closing down, infrastructure is decaying, young Nigerians are losing hope of being employed, hospitals are full of people who suffer various illnesses and cannot afford the fees. The student wing of the CNG is extremely worried that some insensitive and indifferent authorities of northern Nigerian universities have already announced incredible increments in their tuition. Those in this category are University of Maiduguri in the Northeast. MBBS students were paying 49,950 naira. An increment of over 487% was made as they are now to pay 243,000. Federal University Duse in the Northwest, computer science students were paying 61,000. But now they are to pay 181,000 with over 296% increment. Federal University Lafia in the North Central experienced a hike in departmental charges, with the MBBS students are to pay close to 200,000 aside tuition fee and other charges. As is the tradition of the CNG, we took time to understudy the situation and assess the inherent dangers the hike in tuition will pose to Nigerians and especially to the northern region, which has been abandoned to the mercy of rampaging banditry and insurgency. Specifically, the northern region is currently being held ransom by bandits that operate with ease and will in all the 7 states of the Northwest, taking total control of land borders, highways, forests, and in some cases, railways and airports. Boko Haram and ISWAP insurgents continue to wreak havoc in the Northeast, while farmers, herdsmen clashes escalates in the North Central. We are convinced that this hike and other potential damaging policies are part of a calculated design to continuously weaken the North educationally and pauperize it economically. It follows that the North will feel the pain of the hike in tuition more than other parts of the country because of the current challenges and limitations faced by the region around security and unforgettable poverty. Added to this is the pervasive harsh economic reality resulting from the removal of electricity subsidy and subsequent hike in electricity tariff, worsened by the scarcity of PMS and uncontrolled willful hike in prices of commodity where and when available. The consequences of the tuition hikes. 1. The hike in university tuition, if left unchecked, will lead to massive dropouts and return millions of youth in this region back to the streets. 2. New students will have to give up their dreams of acquiring higher education. 3. Returning students yet to overcome the trauma of an 8-month ASUU strike and struggling to bear the frustration of a wasted academic year, resources and energy will find themselves at the receiving end. 4. The breed of frustrated youth shall become uncontrollably open to all vulnerabilities, temptations, and influences that could ultimately lead to an increase in organized crimes, worsen the security situation, and seal the fate of the North permanently. 5. The number of university graduates and productive segments of every society will inevitably drop drastically, and the confidence, hope, and faith of the commoners in the entire schooling system will be lost with their consequences. 6. It will also translate into a waste of study and employment quotas meant for the northern region. 7. The region's educational and economic viability will be completely crippled, and the region will continue its slide into decay, decadence, inconsequences, irrelevance, and general backwardness. Our resolutions: not one to fold arms and watch situations that pose danger to the interests of the North and potentially affect the general well-being of the country. The student wing of the CNG hereby resolves as follows. 1. To condemn all stakeholders' concerted action to checkmate this unfolding ugly scenario by ensuring an immediate downward review of higher tuition across the universities in the North. 2. To demand the northern elite and all stakeholders to speak up to reject and discourage the passage of the education loan bill, as lifespan and sustainability of the loan is not guaranteed. And in the event the passage of the bill becomes inevitable, we demand your urgent intervention in ensuring the provision of easy accessibility and soft repayment clauses therein. We also warn vice chancellors of universities in the region to avoid the eventual hazard and unseen circumstances by ensuring that no student drops out from the universities as a result of these increases. We appeal to the northern elite, especially the business community, to please support public university education in their domains. Finally, we place the federal government on notice that if after this decent plea and persuasion, it fails to see reasons, we shall take concrete actions which will not preclude mobilizing for massive and sustained region-wide protests. For the avoidance of doubt, we emphatically place on record that any such protest will be total and shall involve the indefinite shutdown of all campuses and the occupation of major highways and state capital across the North.
Yes.